What's going on, guys? Today we've got my placement games, but we're doing them a bit differently. I'll be showing you the highlights of my placements and going over my decisions in game, explaining how you can improve in 2v2 and the tips you can take away from my 10 games. Then at the end we're going to see where we're ranked. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Starting off, I do have to say I wasn't playing my best. I made a few bad challenges and had some poor positioning in the first few games. However, I did note that my teammate was quite an aggressive player, and so I started to slowly adapt to his playstyle in this first game. Here you'll see I made a pretty poor challenge for the shot on goal, but understood that my teammate was also up with me, and so I rotated back in front of the opponent to try put him off and give my teammate time to get back. This led to an easy power shot into the net. It's always someone's first game on, so I'm never one to say no to an own goal. Or just, let my teammate carry me a little bit. The game ended at 3-1, and with that our first placement game was done. Now, heading into game 2, I realized my teammate was the same teammate from the last game, and knowing he was an aggressive player, I adapted to this and started playing a bit of a slower playstyle, rotating behind him as much as I could, just in case of an overcommit. Here you see me hang back in net and not push until I know they absolutely can't get it over me. This leads to my teammate being able to pressure the 1v1 and get a nice goal. The right play in this instance would have been to challenge much earlier to give my teammate a better chance of clearing it up if I mess up. At first I thought he was being positive and congratulating the other team. I soon realized he wasn't too happy with me. The rest of the game went pretty much the same way. He wasn't very happy. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but nonetheless he decided to mess around, carried on chatting, and we ended up losing. Moving on to the third game, we were up against the same opponents, but this time I had a different teammate. I thought if I played it just slower, stuck to the basics, and just tried to hit some easier shots instead of pushing anything a bit challenging, we might have a good shot. Nope. This game was a combination of weird touches like this, which put me in a bad position, which then made me try and cover up my teammate's strange hit, which then led to an open goal for my opponents. Honestly, something was wrong with my positioning. I mean, it wasn't all me obviously, but there was just weird touches and I couldn't really do anything at any of these points. There's nothing I could do in this game. I took a quick 5-minute break and did something else. Coming back in with over the fourth game, I had the same teammate, only this time around, things were different. I went for the opposite of what I was doing in the last games. I played a bit faster and I went for some shots that were a bit more risky. Coming off the wall here, I wasn't quite sure what I could do, but I went for it anyway, pushing it over one, pushing it over the second, and then just slowly rolling it into the back of the net. In this next clip, I want to touch on something I did, which I think you can all learn from. Positioning wise, I rotate straight back, but understand that my teammate is rotating back post, which means there's nothing I can really do to help out here. I quickly changed to rotating back post like he did, just in case the ball comes away or comes across in front of him. This leaves me in a good position to cover him where he just misses the ball here and get a nice clear. You generally always want to rotate back post so you don't get in the way of your teammate in their rotation. My teammate informs me here that he's trying this match and that he's sorry about before, and so I know we're on to clean this game up nice and easy. Here I want to talk about another positioning choice. I see my teammate push up for this ball and flip into the wall. Seeing this, I rotate back immediately and force them to shoot an early shot so they have less of a chance of getting it around me. This gives my teammate enough time to get back and help me defend. Now, here's the thing, PPAP. I was gonna add you, and in fact, I was very close to typing sure. I got the keyboard out, I was ready to go and everything. And looking up, I saw you were a bit toxic. Sorry man, no room for that. But we won, we did it, and 4 games in, I found out we're playing around Champ 1 level, which is kind of where I was last season. On to game 5. Unfortunately, it was another game where nothing went our way. I had a nice redirect into our top corner. I put a pass across to our teammate that didn't get a connection. No. And moving up for the ball here, I had a nice first touch just to kind of get it over the opponent, but was then followed up with a cheeky bump from my teammate. A minute after that though, my teammate does do a good pass downfield in which I follow up and get a nice easy shot onto the net, which wasn't really contested.
Are you running?
Surprisingly, in overtime we actually managed to pull one back and win the game, despite all our flaws, and end up finishing our first 5 placement games winning 3 and losing 2. Heading into game 6, I was playing a lot more freely and just having fun playing the game, going up whenever I could and with as much speed as I could, which is something I've recommended in past videos as I know it loosens you up in game. I was also welcomed back with one of the beautiful unspoken rules of Rocket League. So just a quick recap. Try to adapt to your teammates' playstyle, learn when you should be playing fast and when you should slow down your pace, and always try to rotate back as much as you can so you don't get in the way of your teammate in the middle of their rotation. Applying these 3 tips alone will help you to get better in 2s and will also make it easier for you to deal with teammates while playing solo queue. The game finishes up at 3-0 and we're currently at 4-2 after 6 placement games. On to the 7th. My teammate and I seem to work really well together this game, passing off the wall to each other to give ourselves easy scoring opportunities. In this next clip, I found that I might not have been able to reach the ball with the speed I was going and the speed my opponent was coming at, and so I utilized the wave dash here. After taking a bad touch and losing control of the ball, I opt to try to take a good 50-50 and hold my second jump until the opponent is challenging to make it harder for them to put the ball over my head. Thankfully, my teammate is there to clean up and take the shot. Game 7. I put pressure on the ball and then moved to pressure the keeper. Watch my movements here. Even tiny adjustments can be enough to make the keeper think you're going to bump them, which, in this case, led to a goal. All in all, this game went pretty well. I stopped hesitating and started just trusting that I could go up for shots, and even if I missed, I trusted that my teammate could get back to cover me while I recover. I ended up hitting this little shot, which I quite liked, even though nowadays this is pretty much standard at like a Diamond 1 level. Here, you'll once again see that constant pressure can be enough to disrupt your opponent's playstyle and give your team a good scoring opportunity. Soon after this, they forfeit and we're on to game 9 after winning 6 games and only losing 2. Like I said at the start of the video, you almost always want to challenge these quite early. Never underestimate the effect that small little light touches have on your opponent. A lot of the time it can throw them off and lead to you having a shot on net like we've seen many times in this video already. Now for the rest of the game, there were some good moments like this shot here. And unfortunately there were some bad moments. In the end, we lost, which brought us to 6 games won and 3 lost going into our final game of our placements. I was determined this game, playing fast and constantly applying pressure to my opponents. I used everything we had spoke about already, rotating in front of my opponent to slow them down and give my teammate time to come back, playing faster and more aggressively, going up for shots I wasn't sure if I could hit in order to throw my opponents off, disrupt their playstyle and give myself a shot on net. And just generally having fun. If I saw a shot that had the slightest chance of going in, I would take it. And while that's not normally advised, as it often is way too risky to justify, it was my placement games, and after 9 in a row I was just chilling out and having fun. If you've been paying attention to the score, you will have noticed that we went down quite early on and have now just made a solid comeback. The stage was set. My final game of my placements had come down to 4-all at overtime. I had scored the last 2 goals and was pretty confident we would take this. My teammate goes to the kickoff and I go for boost. I come back for the backboard save and... Well, that wraps up my placement games. That last mistake could have been easily avoided, but unfortunately I got my timing wrong. We finish up winning 6 games and losing 4. And so we are placed in Champ 1 Division 4. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, let me know where you were placed after your 10 matches. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.